All right. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Xavier, I'm here from original BlackPrint, work with Black Cultural Zone as one of the partner orgs. I'll just let folks also get an opportunity to introduce themselves as well. But just really want to say, just thank you for just taking out the time for the counselors that are coming to speak with folks, for the folks that are coming to get information. Thank you for trusting us to deliver this information. We have a jam-packed presentation, as well as a lot of tangible things that you can act upon even during here, because one-on-one consultations at the end. We will for sure have food in the bag, Nigel's Kingston 11, and some Caribbean food. So I hope that warms your bellies as well. But if y'all want to go ahead and introduce yourselves too.
Yeah, I'm Dee. I'm here with EB PREC. We have an intro section, so let's maybe move through and maybe go through the agenda. If you hit the next slide.
And can everyone hear online?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, you can hear in the room. How about online? Let us know if you have any challenges, but we'll do some welcomes and get introduced to the counselors and everybody who's involved today, and also hear who has come through from the neighborhood. And then we'll review our resource packet that the East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative put together to help folks navigate different resources in the Bay towards housing and stabilizing ourselves. We'll also follow that with a session where we will listen to folks' experiences in housing and what they need, what can serve, and what kind of resources we can put folks in touch with. And then we'll take a break. Food will be delivered around 3:30. So we'll be able to start eating. And then anyone who wants to do a one-on-one consultation with a counselor about your housing needs and circumstances, we'll give you some time and space to do that. And then we'll wrap up around 5 o'clock. All right, I hope that sounds good. And would love also to ask anyone who's in the chat to just let us know that you're here by dropping your name, maybe even your neighborhood, your email address also. And we'll take it from there. Thanks. All right, so today we are really honored and being supported by the Better Neighborhood, Same Neighbors initiative. That is a collaboration of a bunch of different community organizations, you can see is listed here, that really meant to lead community-based solutions to some of the climate-led issues, especially that are specific to Deep East Oakland, as we know, with the freeways and industry and rail, and how that impacts us in terms of our health and our longevity and life expectations. So we are looking at $28.2 million of an investment that did things like build this housing development across the street. So it's 54 units of affordable housing there. There's an after-school bike program with scraper bikes and higher ground. So the kids are learning bike safety and mobility and learning how to maintain and even get those skills and jobs training to work with bikes. We also got Planting Justice, planting 2,000 trees, that's fruit and street trees throughout this 5 square mile project area that you can see behind me here. So if you signed in and you live within this project area, you also want to make sure we know that we are directly reaching residents, right? It's a very hyper local and targeted outreach here, right? So we also are part of 3 elements, transformative elements that are touching all of these projects. And the East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative is holding the anti-displacement aspect. So that's part of why we're here today with our partners, really wanting to make sure that Deep East Oakland is resourced and connected so that it can stay housed and build community wealth. If you want to hit the next slide. And why is East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative holding this displacement avoidance program? Well, we are a Black and people of color led and centered real estate development cooperative. So we purchase land and housing, take that off the speculative market, which means we put it into agreements so that it can't be sold again for housing, but it's used to build wealth and equity for Black, Indigenous, and people of color communities throughout the Bay, so that we can be here long-term and stay rooted deeply. Next slide. Chris and Scott are also here with EB PREC today, and I'd love actually to let y'all introduce yourselves.
My name is Chris Chu. I was born in Oakland and I'm a community organizer with the team. My name is Scott. I'm one of the community organizers as well for the Displacement Avoidance Plan. And we're so happy to have you today and to be hosting you in our new Community Resource Center. Thank you so much for coming.
And so original BlackPrint, we focus on holistically transforming the material conditions of African Black folks specifically. We really look at that through a health lens, so economic, social, political, spiritual, health. And through that, like things like this of like getting information to folks around like housing, since those basic needs of like food, water, shelter, those things are like really fundamental for you to be able to, you know, thrive and be well and happy. And we also know that for Black folks, those are things that we're often been like separated from. So very happy to have like this particular session helping the facilitation of meeting those basic needs. A lot of our work too is centered around like healing. So we're also reintroducing people to healing practices, often ancestral practices. Like when we say reintroducing, because it's like these are things that we do know or our lineage has had, does live in us. And it's really just us trying to like really like show and present a bunch of different modalities for people to connect with resources, go deeper with those resources of healers and so on, to see what really works for them, but to also activate that exists already within them. And then, so the Black Culture Zone, I did mention this, also part of the Better Neighborhoods and Neighborhoods. So basically, this session kind of came out of a collaboration through the EB PREC and other works that have presented thus far, but also it sits within a committee that's a part of the Black Culture Zone. So the Black Culture Zone is like, it's actually hosted at Liberation Park, which is at Eastmont Mall. And so it's a really, really incredible group of people. Like, you know, you have residents, you have partner organizations, some of the organizations here are part of that body, but really focus on trying to really preserve Black folks within East Oakland, connecting them to resources, building well, really amplifying like culture and arts. And so that space that we're there at Liberation Park has basically had over like 300 or so events of activations. Like there's like a skating ring, you might have seen like Europe has like folks skating, music, DJ, food, fun. So it's like, you know, again, we need that as people, right? It's an opportunity for us to engage in like Black joy, but then also be able to engage in Black wealth. So there is a cultural hub that's being developed at that space as well. So right now we skate, but later we will live, we will be able to like make money, have our businesses, sessions like this occur there, Black businesses, incubation of Black businesses. So we're really trying to allow for us to live our full selves. So Black Cultural Zone is that, and then the place group is really where we situate anti-displacement and things that relate to just physical place and space. Next slide. Yeah, so our resource partners, the battle here, but we want to take an opportunity to just like let you all introduce yourselves and tell us about your organization.
Hi, everybody. My name is Laura. I'm one of the housing counselors at EB Council. We're located on 1900 Brown Avenue. And today I'm just here to give one-on-one counseling sessions with whoever needs more information on housing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hi, everyone. My name is Henrisa. I'm a managing attorney and interim co-directing attorney for the tenants' rights team at Centro Legal de la Raza. We focus on legal consultations, legal representations, know your rights presentations, policy work, and also sort of class actions, all related to housing rights for marginalized tenants and tenants with lower incomes. Really happy to be here.
Thank you.
And that's just the tenants' rights team, I should say, is what we focus on.
Hey everyone, it's Tomas Alvarez. I'm here with Idea to Form. We're the video crew that's capturing some footage. This event, a bunch of other events, community-led events for a 5-minute documentary that's going to be shown to policymakers in Sacramento February 1st. So we're working with Elemental Accelerator, also with some other organizations and folks like this coalition. So yeah, excited to be here to capture this amazing work that's happening. So thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Nikki Beasley, Executive Director of Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services, even though we hold the name of Richmond We actually do some great work here in the city of Oakland. We're property manager, landlords of properties in East Oakland. We have a development in West Oakland. And then I want to introduce our program manager, Dominic Green, who runs one of our programs.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dominic Green. Thank you, Nikki, for introducing me. I'm a proud member of the Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services team. I run the accessory dwelling unit peace equity program, where we support, to Nikki's point, Oakland residents in the construction, design, financing, construction of accessory dwelling units in Oakland. So, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Excellent. And I'm Scott, Scott Annis Luz from EB PREC. I'm a community organizer, tenant organizer, and specialize in, just resident defense and stabilization of all sorts. So in addition to presenting our housing resource packet today, I will also be doing the one-on-one sessions, specifically kind of supporting Enrisa in doing any tenants issues and also homeowner issues if needed, foreclosure defense and et cetera.
Yeah, and we have Oscar on the line who's translating, but Oscar is in the Spanish channel. I don't know if you want to switch over and just say hi. So thank you.
Hello.
Hey, Oscar.
Hi, everyone. My name is Oscar Arteta. I am a Spanish interpreter. I am in the interpreting channel. And I was hoping that I'll be introduced so I could announce that there is interpreting. And I will be in the interpreting channel if somebody needs me, but please let me know. Hola, soy Oscar Arteta. Seré su intérprete en español si es necesario. Yo estoy en el canal en español. Si es que me necesitan, por favor, háganme saber, porque si no, estaré en silencio. Muchas gracias. Okay, I made the announcement in English and Spanish. Thank you.
Thank you, Oscar. Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll be in mute in the main English channel.
Awesome. And then for those who are here that haven't got a chance to introduce yourself, can you just share your name and your neighborhood?
So my name is Paris and my neighborhood is East Oakland.
Hi, I'm Fontaine and my neighborhood is Fruitvale. And I'm originally from San Francisco. I had to move like everybody else. I love Oakland. And I'm so impressed with this program that you guys have here. It's just blown away that you got people working, in the backgrounds to do these type of things. So thank you.
My name is Shamar. Also,
Okay, so we'll talk a little bit. There's a lot of orgs involved today. And we mentioned EB PREC doing the displacement avoidance plan. So that's Scott, Chris, and myself on this team, the DAP team, Dignity and Power out here. Okay. So our mission is to prevent displacement and empower transformative change by resourcing DP Oakland and really building resident-led and groups toward residents and groups towards collectively owning and stewarding land and property together. And that way we're building community wealth at the same time as we're preserving ourselves in our land and housing, taking that off the speculative market and decommodifying. And why are we even here today? Why did we come together? Why are we a part of this funding? If you want to hit the next slide. Oh, actually, before you do that, where we are today, this is the Better Neighborhood, Same Neighbors Resource Center. So it's part, again, of this $28.2 million investment by the Strategic Growth Council. And we're here Monday through Thursdays, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. if y'all want to come by, get any more resources. There's also workforce development, economic development. We're here supporting housing. There are so many different organizations involved, so we really want to make sure that people are plugged in, like Cypress Mandela, the West Oakland Jobs Resource Center. You heard about Black Cultural Zone, Oakland Parks and Rec. So there's so many resources here available for folks, and we want to make sure that everybody can get plugged in. So come to see us 10 to 2, Monday through Thursdays. And we're also making the space available for community events. So if you have anything that you want to host, you can definitely talk to us about doing that after hours. Get the next slide. Thank you. So displacement, what's that look like? It's actually, especially in Oakland, very stratified across racial lines, right? So if you look at this chart here, it's kind of some old data, almost 10 years old, but you can still see a trend between 2000 and 2015. So that was definitely when the big mortgage crisis was happening, right, in the early 2000s. There's only one demographic that you see on this chart whose population decreased in that time. Everyone else, right? So white, Black, Latinx, and Asian folks. So it's very racially stratified. And if we're thinking about, if we can look at the next slide, even what that looks like physically, there's this great heat map that shows you the change in the population between 2000 and 2017. So the darker color is the more intense exit, if you will, of Black folks. And to the same token, right? So you see it really heavily dense in West Oakland. You have the BART being built out there and the Cypress Freeway. Over time, there's a lot of development. EB PREC just recently bought Esther's Orbit Room out there. So small plug, we'll be doing a happy hour at Esther's on next Friday. We can share some information with you about that, but you also see it happening in East Oakland. And we know that a lot of developers came in, corporate entities came in and bought up properties, remodeled them, made them unaffordable, right? So the next slide will show you very visibly, basically urban replacement, right? So this heat map is showing the cooler colors where the increase in the white population very strongly in West Oakland again, but you're seeing even, close to 10–20% in East Oakland as well. So we are responding by trying to get out ahead and making sure that people know their rights, people know that what resources are available to them, because this program itself, if you hit the next slide, has the potential to trigger something that's called climate or green gentrification, where there are investments that are meant to create resilience around climate change. But those investments, again, make the area more appealing and also more unaffordable to the communities that are already there who are meant to benefit from that. And that's exactly what Better Neighborhoods, Same Neighbors is about. So bringing EB PREC in specifically to this model means that we're introducing our very specific and special cooperative model of financing and housing into the picture of anti-displacement. So both, yes, let's make sure you have your resources, but let's also think about different ways that we could be doing investment and we can be doing real estate, right? So we, the people, can come together and pull our resources. We can make those funds available to acquire properties collectively, which is what we do. We have 3 properties now, and we're definitely making the structure possible to acquire even more. So we use those funds that we put together, and some of the residents are able to live in the properties that we acquire. As they're paying and contributing to those properties, are also building equity, right? And because those properties are in an agreement that they can't be sold again for a profit, there is no motivation for that house or that property to ever be sold. So that family has permanent housing as well as the opportunity to build collective wealth. We don't have the landlords in the picture anymore than trying to actually extract that profit, because as a cooperative, members of the cooperative own it. We make decisions about it cooperatively together, and we also return or get that return on investment either as an investor or as a resident who lives in the property, or even as just a member of community owner. So it's all about regenerating the funds, the finances in a way that is not how it's currently happening. It's actually very extractive. Landlords and banks basically extract people's rents, right? So in the form of interest and in the form of their own profit on top of their own expenses. So all that money is just going one way. EB PREC is here to disrupt that and make sure that we collectively can put more land and housing into cooperative ownership. Go out that way. So today we're going to introduce y'all to one of our major resources that we put together in this effort. It's our housing navigation and resource packet. So Scott's going to review that for us, and I'll pass it off to you. I don't know if you want me to jump in on the slides or if you feel good right there, but this is something you can find on our website, Here to Stay, ebprec.org/here to stay. You'll be able to download that and navigate for yourself. We've also got some flyers that have a QR code on it if you want to take that home with you, make that available to folks that you love. We'll also drop in the chat how you can get to the website for that. So thanks so much, and I'll pass it to you, Scott.
Excellent,
Excellent.
excellent. First off, do we have enough chairs? If a few more folks in here
Yeah, there's some in the corner here.
Okay, so just doing a quick chair check. Okay, if not, we have a couple more in the back. We could, behind the projector screen, we could put up. Okay. So I am so thrilled to be presenting this new housing resource with everyone here. What are some quick housekeeping things? First of all, if you're here over Zoom, it would be helpful to look at the bottom of your screen. There should be a globe bar that says translation. And feel free to select the language channel of your preference, and that'll make sure that your audio over Zoom will be in the language that you need. What else are a few things? B already said, please take a one sheet, which are over there with QR codes in order to access the packet at any time. Yeah, they're right next to the, that's right. Thank you, Kita.
Hello,
Hello.
this is Oscar, the interpreter.
Oscar.
Would you like me to say what you said in Spanish about interpretation?
I would love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hola, a cualquier persona que necesite interpretación al español, por favor, en su teléfono puede ir a los 3 puntos, buscar interpretación, luego ir a Spanish y escuchar este evento en español. Si está en una computadora, vaya abajo a la derecha donde hay un círculo, dice Interpretation, luego va a Spanish y podrá escuchar esto en español en caso lo necesiten. Muchas gracias. Okay, I'm done.
Thank you so much, Oscar. Yes, so definitely take a one sheet with you. For folks that are online, you can actually scan the QR code that's being shared on your screen right now, or you can go to ebprec.org/here to stay, the number 2, here to stay. A few more things. This packet is version 1. It is just version 1. We'll be making additional versions, refined versions, and versions in different languages, especially Spanish, which Oscar is actually helping us with translate right now. But yeah, we'll be having better iterations of this over the 2 years, remaining years of the Better Neighborhood, Same Neighbors program, and we'll probably keep on refining it beyond that. So this is the first version. It works best as a digital document at this time, but we do have printing capabilities here for the community at this resource center. So if there's a specific resource you'd like help getting printed out, or even a few pages of this you'd like to get printed out, please see us during our office hours here, Monday through Thursday from 10 to 2. Is there any other? I think that should be about good. You know, there's also really quick, there's also just so many resources that our program offers, and even the space offers. It's hard to keep track. I don't even know if we mentioned the free trees program and community greening program that we serve. Oakland Parks and Rec Foundation, they serve that out of this space. So if you live in the TP East Oakland and want some free trees, free native and free fruit trees, you can come here to get signed up for those. There's also a literacy outreach program. That's why there's all these books here. These are free books for the community. We don't even have a book limit right now. So, you know, even today, if you'd like to take a book home, please take it. We get new books in all the time in collaboration with the Oakland Public Library and several book dealers and stores in town. All right. Here's a quick table of contents. We're going to actually jump into it soon. But this is just kind of the overarching table of contents that we have, which I'll go over more in depth shortly. And Xavion made this great description because the packet is quite dense. So this is sort of could maybe help folks understand the lay of the land of the packet. We'll admit this person and I will hide this again. At the top of each section, we have the housing area of interest. So this is the first section. This is community land trusts and real estate cooperatives. Right below it, we have a description of organization types. This could also be like just a description of the aspect of housing that this subject is covering. So under this one, we have methods for collective ownership and stewardship of land. Below that, we go into specific organizations. So over here, we have the permanent real estate cooperative. We have below that a method of contact. So below every organization, we'll have a hyperlink to the website or an email or a phone number to call whenever possible. and then a granular description of the organization below it. So for East Bay Permanent Real Estate Cooperative, we are a community-centered development co-op in Oakland, democratically run and led by people of color. Below that, we have additional resources from each of these organizations and ways to get involved, hyperlinks. And we also have links to PDFs that are saved on the cloud, so you can be accessed anytime. And these are just hand-picked resources that if you are dealing with a need or issue with housing, these are the resources to click on and learn about and get more in depth on. Okay, and we'll do that later. So bear with me really quick. I'm going to switch my screen share. And I did want to screen share. I actually wanted to screen share the PDF, but we're having a few technical difficulties. So instead, I will share it from Google Drive. So I'm sorry, but if you activate the QR code, you'll be able to get to the PDF on your phone or computer. And the PDF is actually hyperlinked to the contents, which is really, really handy. So I'm gonna hide this bar. Give me 1 second. And let's move to full screen. It could be worse. Okay. And here we go, moving through the entirety of the housing resource packet. It's about like 15 pages. Feel free to just literally interrupt me and speak in the room or over Zoom. If you need any info, or you could put something in the chat as well, but really feel free. It's just speak up, please. So, and folks, let me know if I'm going a little too fast. So here's our cover page, version 1, fall 2022. We have our displacement avoidance team mission statement, which is to prevent displacement and empower transformative change in East Oakland by resourcing the community and developing resident leaders and groups for collectively owning land in their neighborhoods. We also outline our partners, the California Strategic Growth Council, and the Transformative Climate Communities Program. And we have our Better Neighborhoods, Same Neighbors logo, which Black Cultural Zone really helped out a lot with. And big shout out to the city of Oakland as well. All right, the table of contents. Now, in Google Docs, this is not hyperlinked, but again, in the PDF form, it is. And let's go through the table of contents real quick. We have land trusts and real estate cooperatives. We have tenants' rights and resources. And under that, we have eviction defense, tenant protections, local tenants' rights orgs and services. Centro Legal is definitely on there. Basically, everyone in this room, if your organization is here, you are in this. Tenant organizing resources. So this is for actually making tenant associations, which is a great way to create housing stability and people power, especially in East Oakland. We have a list of local and regional tenant associations to join. We have legal assistance for tenants and homeowners. We have rental assistance, utilities assistance, and affordable and low income housing organizations and resources. And finally, we have homeowner resources. And this involves home buyer support, foreclosure prevention, and accessory dwelling unit ADU construction and financing. All right. And we have some general info here. This is our email for support specifically in Deep East Oakland, here to stay at ebprec.org. We also have a phone number to call right here, 510-470-0060. We're also starting a hotline very soon. And we have information to come to our resource center and to attend our EB PREC orientations. We just hosted an orientation here at the resource center last week, which was a wild success and just an incredible event. So we do an in-person orientation once a quarter. So if you want to get on our mailing list, etc., just stay tuned, because I can barely keep up with all the stuff we're doing, honestly. All right. So you already got kind of an overview of how the setup works. So here we are in the Community Land Trust and Real Estate Cooperative section of the resource packet. So each of these are hyperlinked. Hopefully this doesn't mess up my screen share, but here is our website. So again, all of the links are live, they're active, and they've all been vetted by us. Below, we have how you can become a community owner, which is a great way to start organizing. Basically, out here, we have about 3 big ways to organize that we support. One is to be a community owner. One is to join a tenant association. And another is to become a resident leader or volunteer of the Better Neighborhood Same Neighbors program. And that can mean running this space with us, which we always need help with, and just helping spread the good word and make sure these resources, get to the people that need them. The property intake form as well is a really incredible link to take, which is a Google form here. This is the way that our organization determines if a building is economically feasible for us to acquire for the community. So, one of the aspects is mobilizing the people power, right? Starting an owner group, resident owner group or community owner group to try to buy a building. And the other side is making sure we can afford it and it's economically feasible. So this is a big way this is one of the major steps of creating a community acquisition. All right. And here are some more of our online resources, right? How collective purchasing works, navigating the owner group process, and our bylaws, which are very dense, but very helpful. Next, we have community land trusts, and obviously Segura Te is at the top. Segura Te Land Trust is a local indigenous women-led land trust that facilitates the return of land to indigenous people. They are such an amazing organization. They're doing incredible work. They'll be getting actually some land from the city of Oakland if they haven't already gotten it. It's in the process. Yeah, we are having real land back happening through Segura Te. Segura Te also has a Shumi land tax. So if you're able, paying your Shumi land tax to Segura Te is a great way to support the struggle if you're able to. We have a list of other great community land trusts. We have the Oakland Community Land Trust. They're fantastic. The Northern California Land Trust, SF Community Land Trust, the Bay Area Community Land Trust, and the Richmond Land, which is the Richmond Land Trust. And we'll just visit a few of these websites really quick.
What is a community land trust, Scott?
Yeah, okay. A community land trust is another way to create perpetual affordability in the Bay Area, really in the US. It's really a lot like a permanent real estate cooperative. It's just, hey, what's up, Ben? It's just different in how it's structured financially and legally. But really, it's fantastic. It's a way to get 50 to 100-year affordability. It's a way to take real estate off the speculative market, which is something that our cooperative does as well. And the great thing is we can all work together. So sometimes if a building is too expensive, we can actually collaborate with the land trust in order to acquire a building for the community. So let's see, did Segura Te? So yeah, Segura Te's website. We actually held a great workshop that B put together with the Northern California Land Trust. I think we might have a recording of that. If not, we'll do one soon and get a recording. They're great. Oakland Community Land Trust also is fantastic. They've done great work in the Fruitvale. They facilitated the purchase of Oakland Soul and of Hasta Muerte Cafe. So really, really great folks. This is a great list of land trusts to reach out to. And we have numbers here and websites. Below is actually this Burlington Associates is actually from Burlington, Vermont. The reason they're here is because they have an in-depth digital community land trust resource center online, and it is pretty fantastic. And so after vetting these, we decided to put them actually in the packet because whether you're starting a CLT or whether you're someone interfacing with a CLT in order to get a property or to move your family or community into a property, et cetera, this is a great resources to check out. So some of them are really long, right? Starting a CLT, as you'd imagine, starting a community land trust is pretty involved. So this is like a 100-page document. However, it is phenomenal. And I'll just land on a page and see where we get. Right, so here's the diverse world of community land trusts. And it really goes into some really granular stuff. I mean, it's like, it can go even into, there's 100 pages, right? But it goes into like, what are the drawbacks of getting government funding for your land trust? What are the drawbacks of having kind of even like partisan support of your land trust, you know, things that can actually hurt the sustainability if there's political change in your town. So this is a great resource. There's also like very accessible, very short. This is a 7-page document by Burlington Associates. It's a great, what is a community land trust, right? How is a community land trust governed, right? This is really important to know. And there's a big difference of how we, a PREC is structured as opposed to a land trust. I could go into that later, but we'll leave it there for now. So really fantastic resources from Burlington Associates here. There's also the CLT Resource Library by the Grounded Solutions Network. This is a searchable library of information and research on community land trusts. It's very good and it's very technical. So there's the technical manual, which is probably very dense. Let's see, 482 pages. Okay, this is if you're really getting into the thick of it. I promise you, not all these resources are like hundreds of pages long. And there is, here's a quick info sheet, which will, a 2-page info sheet, right? Which will show you the advantages of mortgage lending to buyers of shared equity homes. So this is probably only applicable if you're kind of deep in the process of getting your property. But nevertheless, it's a phenomenal, accessible resource to visit if you're interested. Okay, we're gonna have a lot of tabs soon. Close them. All right, moving on to tenants' rights and resources. This is probably this is easily the bulk of the resource packet because I mean, just all things being equal, tenants are essentially, you know, tenants and housing vulnerable and houseless folks are the most oppressed class of residents. So we start with, so it says here, start here if you received a notice to quit, you need to know your rights and or want to organize with other tenants. So if you got a letter from your landlord on your door that is not okay, you come to this section 2 and you start looking. So we start with eviction defense and tenant protections. So these are protections against unlawful evictions, harassment, and landlord retaliation. It's also protections against habitability issues, the whole thing. So first, there's a lot of resources first by Tenants Together. Tenants Together is located in San Francisco in the Mission. They are an incredible tenants' rights organization. I think they're the only statewide tenants' rights organization. And we are collaborating with them frequently, and we'll be collaborating with them more throughout the duration of our program and probably beyond. So let's direct you first, let's look at the Tenant Defense Toolkit. This is phenomenal, and it's available in both English and Spanish. And as you can see right here, look, you do not need to leave your home immediately. If you receive an eviction notice, stay in your home. This is probably one of the most important rules. If you receive an eviction notice, stay in your home. Okay, we can work. It's much easier to work from you being in your home than you being out of your home. Okay, so one great thing to do, even now, right? If you know people in DP Oakland, right? If they receive an eviction notice, stay in their home, call us, visit us, we'll take it from there and direct you to Tenants Together or help you directly, etc. They have a local resource directory. And here we have tenants' rights topics, right? Discrimination, harassment, reasonable accommodations, evictions, unlawful detainers, housing conditions and repairs, rent increases, unfair late fees. They also have, which is actually linked in the packet, they have like disability accommodations for residents, tenants with disabilities, which I thought was really phenomenal. Another org, which is in the packet to contact for disability resources, is the Place for Sustainable Living. So if you know of a tenant or resident homeowner that needs more disability rights or accommodations, you can visit this Tenants Together toolbook and call the Place for Sustainable Living. And we'll look at some of these resources momentarily. So here is the eviction defense PDF from Tenants Together. So Tenants Together makes these phenomenal know your rights info sheets. Whereas sort of the toolkit is really, big and quite labyrinthian. This thing is just like, here's 2 pages, here's what happens, right? And this is just, I honestly love it. I love it. Yeah, so it has, this is a really great, we'll probably print some of these out and leave them in the resource center. If this is something you want to get printed out and don't have printing resources, come see us.
I used to keep a bunch of those in my car and had them out.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, a great thing is to which I'm just restating, is to print these out and just hand them out to your community and your neighbors. Also, one of the best things you can do to stop displacement in the Bay is to just talk to your neighbors. Talk to your neighbors, connect with them, find out what's going on. That's like the first, it's a huge step. Okay, yeah, what are we on time? 10 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna move a little forward. Let's see, what else? Okay, Tenants Together has sample letters. Letter templates are very useful. We can help you with writing letters here, but honestly, a lot of them you can do them yourselves. In Tenants Together, they have a template. You just put in your name, you put in a few signifiers, and you have a legally sound document to send to your landlord. Another thing is always communicate with your landlord through writing, email or letter. We have the City of Oakland Code Enforcement. This is one of the first things to do when you are experiencing habitability issues, whether it be trash, structural hazards, construction hazards, infestations, repairs, right, leaks, etc. Fire Department for fire codes. We also have a tenants' rights presentation that was done with EB PREC earlier this year from the rent adjustment program, Oakland's rent adjustment program. It's a very good resource, which we can talk about if you actually need that for yourself. Here's information on the Oakland Tenant Protection Ordinance and the Oakland Eviction Moratorium. So below here, we have, just some documents, legal documents you can refer to understand your rights better. Yeah, that's pretty good. And down here is the California Tenants Guide. This is your go-to guide for just anything you need to know. It also serves landlords as well. It just serves everyone and providing them all the information. So you want to know how much can they ask me for security deposit? How much can they ask for application fee, which honestly is just like ridiculous. But stuff like that. Can they ask me to pay for a blind replacement or a light bulb? This is the stuff to go to. All right. I got to speed it up. So, but you can look at this and get into it anytime. You can come visit us here and get support doing it. So we have local tenants' rights organizations, Casa Justa, Tenants Together, the Rent Adjustment Program. This is SEEDS, the Mediation Services, Center for Independent Living is great for disabilities. I'm going to keep it going. Tenant organizing resources. This is for forming tenant associations. And there's a really great, some really great documents from Tenants Together, the Tenants Union Guide, and a door knocking tracking form. We're actually going around and knocking on doors of your neighbors to try to form a tenant association. Here is a template you can use to collect all of those signatures. And if you can collect a signature of every building, every unit in your building or what have you, you are well on your way to getting some victories and forming an association. And here is from this is from the Law Foundation of where is it? I think it's like Silicon Valley. This is a great one sheet and just kind of outlines, what is a tenant association? Why should you organize? And what are your legal protections? And the resource packet also has these. These are legal protections, right? California Civil Code, section 1942.5, right? We have these in the packet as well. And these are legal protections for organizing, right? As a tenant. So for example, with this code, if you were able to, let's say, stop a building-wide rent increase by getting signatures from everyone in your building, and then your landlord tried to evict you or harass you, you could cite this code, 19425, and say, you are retaliating against me. I'm protected from 180 days since I've tried to organize. And if you keep this up, you could be fined this much money, and this is totally illegal, etc. And it really works. Okay. Let's see. This is another great one, 1942.6. So this is a state law establishing the rights of tenants to invite organizers into their building. So basically, if you or someone is experiencing problems at their building and want to organize, you can invite us, and we're legally allowed to be there, and you're legally allowed to have us there. And even that is exercising your right. All this to say is it's better to exercise your rights. Here are some great local and regional tenant associations to join. There's the Regional Tenant Organization Network. EB PREC is a member, an organizing member of this network, as is Tenants Together and a lot of great organizations. Tank is doing really great work in Eastlake. Their Eastlake chapter is very active, and they're building with a building on Merritt on 3rd right now, which is should still be rent striking. We have ACE, we have the Oakland Tenants Union, etc. Legal assistance, who's number one? Centro Legal. I would say the two heavy hitters, right, are Centro Legal, which is local and they're phenomenal. Provide legal representation for the Latino, immigrant, and low-income communities of the Bay Area, founded in 1969. What a year. And the other organization to check out is HERA, Housing and Economic Rights Advocates. They are the only statewide not-for-profit legal service and advocacy organization dedicated to helping California residents. And we refer a lot of folks to HERA, and they have provided so much support. Eviction Defense Center is great. Sustainable Economies Law Center is great. That's actually our mama organization, which we can tell you more about that sometime. Disability Rights California. So this is a great list, and including a few really good attorneys. If you need to actually seek an attorney, these are some vetted attorneys that we have spoken with, worked with, etc., that are on the side of tenants. Here's rental assistance, including assistance for folks impacted by the criminal justice system. And utilities assistance. Then we have affordable and low income housing organizations. EBALD-C, so it's the East Bay Asian Local Development Corporation. They manage 30 properties in the East Bay. Open House San Francisco is a good resource. It's mostly for San Francisco, but they have some great online resources as well. EBHO, East Bay Housing Organization, is fantastic. And here's some affordable and low income housing resources. The Study Room is a fantastic digital resource by EBHO, which has been recently updated, and it's just a great place, super accessible, super attractive for navigating like affordable housing in Oakland. So really take some time here. It's phenomenal. Look at that, I love that. Yeah, big shout out to EBHO. We also have, this is Open House's list of Greater Bay Area affordable housing opportunities. It's mostly for seniors and adults with disabilities, but it's also a bit broader than that. And this is updated regularly. I think there might even be, I should probably put a new one in if it hasn't. If not, in January, we'll update the next list. And this even shows if the wait list is open, if there are actual openings now, or if it's not. So this is a great resource. Homeowner resources. Up top is the Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services. What a phenomenal org. So Richmond Neighborhood Housing Services. Well, actually, Nikki already gave the big intro, but yeah, if you are a homeowner or want to be a homeowner, I would recommend you to RNHS in a heartbeat. And homeowner resources, these organizations, they serve and assist with purchasing a home, with building accessory dwelling units, ADUs, and preventing foreclosure. The CHDC, Community Housing Development Corporation, is very good. Self-Help Federal Credit Union. I don't know who, we all work with them, right? If you need a bank or a loan from someone that cares and is trying to help, we go to Self-Help. California Housing Finance Agency. So this is the state of California's affordable housing lender. It provides financing and programs for low to moderate income home buyers. This is an incredible resource, and just really is like the directory, right, for finding statewide resources, right? Whether there's even like some ADU, right, ADU grant program, right, available mortgage programs, et cetera, multifamily loan programs. So a really great resource. Foreclosure prevention. Again, there's not much, but there is some. And the California Mortgage Relief is still active. So if someone's facing foreclosure and they have been impacted by COVID-19, this is the place to start. And I believe this is actually through Cal HFA. Homeownership Preservation Foundation, we have a great hotline. We are almost done here. So the accessory dwelling unit, ADU construction and financing, right? This is a great way to further stabilize homeowners if there's space for it, by increasing equity for homeowners, and also by allowing more folks to be housed, right? More affordable housing. And the first one here is definitely the Richmond Neighborhood Housing Program's Keys to Equity Program, KTE. The Keys to Equity program provides design, permitting, construction, and financing services to Oakland homeowners that would like to build an ADU on their property. Blink Lab Architecture is a phenomenal, oh, yes, yes. And I'll even, let me get my,
Okay, thank you.
what'd you say?
Leave the slides out, and you can also download this resource.
Blink Lab Architecture is great, founded and led by June Grant. So Blink Lab is a research-based architecture and urban design practice located in Oakland. And they are the ADU architect for the Keys to Equity program. And I guess we have time really quick. Their ADUs are so beautiful. So here's some designs. We'll move on. Look at that. June is killing it. Like these are incredible. So Keys to Equity, Blink Labs, this is what we're working with in Oakland. Here is the grant program from Cal HFA and the OBY Cooperative. These folks are great too. OBY stands for Own Backyard. OBY is a cooperative that funds the construction, manages an ADU in a homeowner's backyard. So it's a great alternative to traditional ADU models, because to build an ADU as a homeowner, you need a lot of capital and you need a lot of credibility in order to get loans for more capital. So OBY takes care of all of that and can build it and manage it on your property and give the homeowner equity, a certain payment a month. The Casita Coalition is phenomenal. This is the statewide organization for ADU advocacy and support. And their digital resources are phenomenal. Let's look at best practices guidebook real quick. I'm sure I'm about to be at time. But this is just phenomenal. I mean, it has everything you need really to figure out how to start an ADU. Basically, it's this, and then visiting the City of Oakland's website to find out what the newest information, resources, and rules are on ADUs in Oakland. And here's a great guideline for garage conversion ADU. So this is for folks, for homeowners that want to convert their garage into an ADU. And it's just a really clean table. It's incredibly useful. All right. On the Wellness Company is very good as well. So the Wellness Company is an elder care service that actually builds small, tiny homes, but they're like tiny smart homes, specifically designed for senior living and professional caregiving. So these are, ADUs with like a lot of maybe security feature, like to be able to monitor, for caregivers to monitor the elder or person with caregiving needs. They have other like kind of health technology inside the ADU. And I think it also comes with professional caregivers as part of the program that will come visit. It's a really cool program. And here is ADU guidelines for Alameda County. You obviously got to go here, And that wraps up our housing resource packet. So thank you all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let me get out of the screen share.
Thank you for running us through that resource guide. Super helpful. I do want to take just one moment. I'm gonna ask you, I'm seeing a lot of phones and stuff like that. Can you actually go to the link? Just make sure that you have access to it. EBPREC.org/here,
Let me get back.
the number 2, and then stay.
Get rid of
And
this.
then there's also the QR code. Yeah.
Something to scan it, right?
When I scan it, that's not working. Oh, but can you?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's make sure it works. And it's not all updated. Where's the resource packets or the?
It keeps loading.
Get on our Wi-Fi.
You do need the Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
We have no data in here, so your phone should not be working in here unless you're on the Wi-Fi. In case y'all, anybody, I was like, why I got no signal now? Yeah, you're not getting no signal for all this time. But you can get that Wi-Fi. It's the red. It's the red at the bottom.
Okay. Yeah, and then after that, we're gonna take a break, grab plates, sit down, and then we'll get into the listening session. So please do bring up that link. Okay.
Yeah.
A lot of sense there. They're like, it's just loading. And I'm like, oh, you're having a resource center experience.
Yeah, we should be able to. It's only like 15 pages. I'm happy.
No problem. I just be able to airdrop it to people too. Yeah.
Is it working? You get on the Wi-Fi?
Still putting in the Wi-Fi.
Okay. We need to change our Wi-Fi password too.
Yeah, you might. Let's see what.
Nah, man, watch them.
Right, you're so smart.
I know, I was like, y'all set these chairs up. Don't worry.
Give them like. 15 to 5. Watch them.
Four.
15 to
Right.
5.
Like by 4:45.
Yeah. I'm
gonna sign
gonna be,
in.
People might come still, you know, they did, they heard about the food, they come. You got it?
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, when I didn't have the urban scans.
We're taking a quick break, everyone.
Yeah, people in the chat.
Yeah, you want.
Maybe I'm doing it wrong, but it keeps saying incorrect password. Are you getting that as well?
Yeah, I did the first time I entered again and then.
Thank you.
Yeah, and then it should roll for you here.
Okay.
You know, do we have a timeline?
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah, there's no.
Okay, very
In the
So I'm
notes,
not
document.
specific.
Could you
Okay.
shoot,
Link right there.
Very cool. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. I just want to say what's up.
So back to
Putting on the event.
presentation.
How you doing? Originally from Central. Everybody.
How you doing?
Because I'm getting the same over here.
Yeah, we got. Young people do this.
All of us.
Yeah, well, you know, my skills, my computer.
I can read it.
We're gonna catalyze the, what can you talk about? Thank you.
Unfortunately, don't have an iPhone, but I'm more than happy to try to get you.
Yeah, I can even in here. I just have my login and I want to make sure I'm able to take down people if they're contact info.
Or maybe in the Scott's computer when he's back,
Okay.
charger.
Yeah, thanks. I'll ask him.
Yeah.
Okay.
Laura, my niece, if we have iPhone charger if possible.
Yeah.
Sure.
I have to get down with contact info before it's died. I feel so unprepared.
No, what? Hey, honestly, the most prepared thing is showing up.
Yeah, back.
Back, any preparedness. Yo, we got documentation, we, you know.
Good, bro. We're like,
Spanish. Here, I was ready to translate.
appreciate it. I mean, we did just do the.
Yeah, I let a few of my clients know as well, but everyone just has stuff going on a Sunday because of the game stuff.
Yeah.
It's very important.
Oh, yeah. Please.
Everybody check out the research, like, the book. Over there.
Actually, you can just do it right. I can unplug my computer. 'Cause I don't.
I can plug it in wherever you want.
This is already, this is good to go. So I'd rather have you like somewhere. What is that?
Okay, that works.
Whatever you want, yeah, that's out.
So, pick pumpkin food. We're gonna start.
All right, everybody, y'all can go ahead and grab your place and we'll get seated and we'll jump right into the listening session.
All right.
Yeah, I wanted to get into that.
All right, folks, feel free to eat, and we're gonna get started with our listening session. Well, grab a plate, because it's gonna be a lunch combo, okay? So we'll do our listening session and get started in about 5 minutes.
Thank you for that. I should maybe update that in the chat appropriately.
3:20, we'll get started at 3:20, yes, feel free to update that.
20. What's up with it?
I'm great. Thanks for having this.
Yeah.
Organizing this. Sorry for being tardy. So, yeah. Every Sunday though, I'm glad y'all did all in one place on that project. I know you made my honey already. I'm here, but they the same one that I wanted to bring to meet with you.
That sounds like you.
Okay, cool. Cool, so yeah, you know, I wanna link up and collab on the resources.
Yeah, exactly. Especially because like we want to do canvas anyway, so very cool. If you like,
Got it now, though?
and like.
Okay. Hey, what y'all feeding us?
Be the best.
I see you. What's up, Scott?
Hey, what's up, Peter? It's so good to see you.
You too. Sorry, man, tardy. Busy.
You know, you can tap on whenever you want. You're just like, this, you're in there, you know, like, anytime.
Yeah.
Napkins, yeah.
Scott went off, yeah. Oh, are there napkins?
Yeah.
There's a road trip housing. Sounds like we put on a song.
You know, it's like very intense. I like watching how people have a different style and swag. Yeah, because that's it's like, I guess I live in kind of community. You're prepared, like you know what's.
Good job. Go ahead and sing. Oh, you singing. I don't want me singing.
No, that's good. I like singing too. I've been trying, I've been paying attention when we get to you. Kind of like,
You been in 3411? Yeah, we regulars, like you can come through. It's like, it's black popping and the talent is big. It was inspiring to me. I'm just saying. But it was like black performance. You know what I mean? It was not about just singing. Some people can sing. But they're like, no. You perform like great.
No, you do, and especially too, especially if it's like, yeah, then the group harmonizing with.
That's what I'm saying, because it was like, hey, you guys do really. I remember it was like, yo, I'm talking about taking off that church. Like, I need to be.
Bruh, I know it's still playing game. I went to the, like the church choir, the football game where, Ramsey played 30,000. Like, it was like the same thing.
Great.
The whole stuff.
And when they connect. Oh, yeah, I'm saying. Let me tell you, as the person that works in this resource center, take the money. That's exactly. Take as many as you want. Let them know where you got them from, though. When they're like, oh, did you get this book? You let them know. He's one of them. Been spearheading program for the, I get those shows, the food shots, man. People be smiling. Yeah. Yeah, like, oh my God. Okay, they did that. That's your fault. That's you right there. You I saw how to made a joke about it, like, I ain't gonna make promises this coming, but I'm pretty sure we got food coming.
I can never disappoint.
Yeah, no, that's righteous with it.
He never just.
I heard the words, and it's definitely not the noodles that we had on the orientation.
That's the part that needs.
It was.
Be like,
Because honestly, I feel like sometimes you don't think about like how much you're like, you're putting together an event, accommodation too. Like, what do the seats feel like? Can I see? Is it? What's the food like? Like those, you know?
You gotta have a vibe.
Yeah.
that was.
Are you gonna get people in the right energy? Are you with me thinking with our best line? Or you thinking with like seriously?
It's a big difference.
It's like that cafe.
Yeah.
I didn't know.
Feel like that line Yeah. I'm honoring you. Yes, nobody said nothing in the chat. No questions in the chat? Yeah. Right.
So yeah, so.
Are you ready to get started?
For sure, and then I'm trying to go back.
Nah. You got it. Do you want the mic?
All right, y'all, we gonna go ahead and bring it back. Get the plantains, the salad, the drink, and then, head to your seat. Do some head nods, all right? Thank you. So we're gonna try and be mindful too, like we do have some folks that are online on Zoom. So, Chris will be like managing that. We'll be bringing them into the conversation as we navigate. We listed all the questions here, so if you need to visually reference at any point in time, you can. But the first thing we're gonna do and is just, first I'll just run through. So this part is like the listening session. It's like we've given you some resources that we've already compiled because we all know housing is need, right? Like that's is a very obvious thing. So going through the resource package, going through introducing the organization and so on, and like contextualizing. But at this point, we really want to hear from y'all, like what is your housing experience like and so on. And the first question that we have are what are your housing goals? And so if any of y'all like need any paper or pens, like if you best, like think in that way or what have you, or you want to just take a few moments as like other folks speak and say, just let me go there. Oh. Yeah, but so yeah, what are your housing goals? And then we'll just basically pop around, y'all can raise your hands or what have you. And then we'll just navigate through the conversation. That sound good?
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what are y'all's housing goals?
Stay indoors.
Stay indoors.
To own property,
To own property. Awesome.
to own income property.
To own income property, so owning property and making money off that property. Building an ADU, awesome. In the right place.
Is it
Same,
raining?
yeah, we got a +2 on the building an ADU.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Are there other goals?
Pass on the property to my kids.
Yeah,
Okay, pass on the property to your kids,
Yeah.
absolutely.
yeah,
Cause we gotta keep the housing, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Once
which
you
would-
get it,
yeah.
don't lose it,
This
yeah.
will require a trust. You have to have a trust in place.
Okay, requiring trust, exploring different tools to keep that in place.
Share a lot of same housing others, want to be a homeowner. My mom on a house, want to support her and turning her garage into an ADU.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just want to be able to, like somebody said, stay indoors,
Yeah.
pass it down generationally.
Yeah. And buying as much property as you can out here so that your children don't have to move to different states. Because so many people have left the Bay Area because of housing, values. And so you do need to own multiple property if you can, so that your children will be here
Mhm.
and grandchildren
Yeah. So buying enough property to meet the needs
of your
of
family.
your family, exactly. Right. I love how you brought the family element, because I think sometimes when we're approaching these things, it's like, it is sometimes singular. And then it's family as on a needed basis, unless you kind of have like a system within your family and how that flows. So, but no, that's real, making sure that we have enough for the family. Was there another?
It would also be great to establish a community land trust and we can do that.
Yeah, I never heard that term before. That's awesome that you guys are doing that.
Yeah, there's a lot of good tools out here. So community land trust, raising that one up as one for families to also utilize.
I think it like aligns with like people talking about family, but like I guess a goal for me is like have a space where I could create. And so like having space for music, Black art especially, like I want to see us have that space made for us. So like having a studio in the back, like ADUs being mentioned, but right, what am I using the ADU for? And for me, like a housing goal was like not just to own it, but to really make a space for us to produce and give people that resource like authentically in like, hey, this is for us to make music. I'm not trying to own it. I just want you to make. And the more people can do that, the more we can model it for people to have more So, right, because to me, it's like, I don't know, I just think that that whole thing about the goal would be actually to make something truly free and accessible and replicable for other people that look like me. So,
Very accessible, space for the arts and creativity and expression, especially because it's so much of our being, right? So. Absolutely.
I really think that the functional space, I'm not an artist per se, but as a consultant, I don't know where to co-work because it's expensive right now.
Oh, yeah.
So it'd be nice.
yeah.
I got another mentor who have a house and downstairs is his office, you know, it's completely separated. And so it's like, oh yeah, that would be cool. You know,
Yeah,
you haven't had that separation, 'cause working at home is just played, you know, after
yeah,
3 years or so.
yeah. Now you don't like your home, you gotta get.
Right. You need a different space, it's just because.
You get dark early, you ain't got caught in the house and it's dark.
Oh, energy is real.
Yeah, they need to fix the time too out here.
Was there something back here too? Another comment back here?
I'm gonna bring it from the chat, maybe. Oh, yeah, bring one up for the chat.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Also from home, and so with the responsibilities of the home and then the responsibilities of work with the team mission.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or at least having the option, right? Like,
Right.
it's like you stacking uses all together. And it's interesting. I love how when we asked about housing goals, like it quickly got holistic, right? Of us thinking about like living, working, creativity, expression. And I just want to kind of like, lift that up too, that like our housing is so fundamental. And we're putting a lot into that now in this time, especially COVID, right? Like
Yeah.
COVID is like everything happening here. But I think it's really important that when we think about like physical space, that we're also thinking about how does this physical space meet our holistic needs, right?
Yeah.
Ooh, and then you said there was something.
There was something in the chat, sorry, I'm just started chewing on a piece of chicken. Bree Williams has shared with us, ditto to everything said. My housing goals are to own a few properties in an apartment building, pass down the home ownership and establish wealth through real estate. Tap in with EB PREC. What's up?
Shout out, Bree, shout out.
Yeah.
Awesome. Ooh, do we feel good about our housing goals?
Yeah, but the biggest thing is that, in order to buy property, you're gonna have to save some money. You're gonna have to live on a budget. How can you even budget out here in the Bay Area when everything is so super high, when people are leaving?
Hmm.
But a budget is necessary in order to meet any of these goals. You really do have to change your lifestyle and get on a budget, for at least 5 years to save that amount of money.
How many of us have a big?
Right.
Who knows about the 40? I think it's 40,
40,
50, yeah.
What is it?
50, no, it's 50, 40, 20.
What?
30, no, it's 30,
Okay.
it's something like that.
Like, I know 200, but I got you.
It's a way that you, like half of your bills, like you supposed to put money to the side no matter what. You know, yeah, you gotta put money to the side, no matter what, for
Yeah.
yourself. That's before you pay your bills, before you do anything, you wanna take care of that.
Yeah.
And half of your check should be like, oh, okay, this is the bills, this is my expenses. And then you gotta, what can you not, like, you got to have hygiene, clothing. If you do at least 6 months without buying no clothes and staying in, I promise you can save about.
Yeah, I did that out. Yeah. It's I like what you said. They used to tell me you got to pay yourself, but I just never did pay myself.
Yeah, you gotta pay yourself.
Yeah, I don't
So if
pay
you work
myself, I
40
pay-
hours,
yeah, I
if you
pay
work
my
40
bills.
hours. Yeah, you should at least put up $5. If you get paid 20,
Oh, okay.
if you get $25, right?
Mhm.
And you work 40 hours,
Yeah,
you should take $5
yeah. you put
out
it-
that, so that'd be
Yeah.
like $200
Yeah.
you're putting up to yourself, because you
Yeah.
gotta pay yourself.
Yeah,
You gotta pay who you are.
yeah. I hear what
Yeah.
you're saying. I want to say honestly, I worked for the city for 3.5 years, and putting money aside for yourself is so hard, on one salary. I mean, it sounds easy, but you have emergencies and all
You know
that.
what it is?
What?
It's that craving that you want. You feel like you got to have it. So it's a chemical balance. It just goes as in like you see a piece of chocolate, or even the same chemical balance chemicals are released.
Uh,
That like, say if you want a piece of candy,
okay,
that's the same chemical balance that you want to spend.
I-
So
okay,
if you gotta understand, you gotta tell yourself, hey, I'm saving because this is what I'm saving for.
yeah.
And you gotta remind yourself every day, oh, why are you saving?
Uh,
Because what best for me, I always say, hey, you ain't got nothing now, so you better save.
yeah. Yeah,
You
I
know
get
what
what
I
you're
love?
saying.
Go
Yeah.
ahead,
I
go
was
ahead.
motivated by jealousy from the Asians. You know, I work for a lot of Asian people and they all own property in San Francisco. And so seeing other people do things and being a little bit jealous and envy is motivation. It was motivation for me. You know, oh, and on top of that, my grandfather used to always say, oh, you got that good city job and you don't have nothing. You know, he started saying that when I was like 21. And so your parents, I do believe, are the main people that get you to understand, you know, that you gotta save to have things, and they like kind of push you, I think, the most, you know, but anyway, it's just hard, you just gotta save some money, you know, for a down payment to get anything, you know, to have anything,
It's true. It's
and I'm
true.
just motivated,
And then I just want to call out, I know we've already transitioned into what are some of the challenges, right?
yeah.
Of housing goals. And so, you know, hearing like saving economics, right? I almost hear an underlying theme of like just the mentality, right? You want to expound
I
upon it?
was gonna say mindset.
Yeah.
I feel like we've been programmed to consume. So like,
Yeah.
we're trying to change that behavior. Like she was saying, it's definitely sometimes tough, but you can do it, like you were saying. You can just be consistent and self-determined and
Yeah,
consistent, no matter how small it is, $5,
Right.
$2.
yeah,
Be consistent.
Also lift up with that too, saving is a plan, right? Like,
Yeah.
you know, it's just like, it doesn't just happen.
right,
So it's like, and when you say like incremental, like every single day doing something that leads, you have a plan that's laid out. So it's not like I'm just saving $10,000 a year. It's like, no, I'm actually saving like a certain amount each month, each week, each day. That allows for me to know when I can and can't do certain things and then begin to only make exceptions for certain things, right? So yeah, so I think having a plan too is helpful, whether it's economics or just generally your housing goals overall, right? Are there other challenges? Yes.
What I was saying about that, because I understand what she's saying about, you know, a lot of people having a situation with their housing and stuff and the Asians. The problem that a lot of times are happening in our community is that we want to do it by ourselves. You know, instead of 4, 5, 6 of us getting together and buying property, we trying to, we're gonna save it all ourselves, we're gonna do it all ourselves. It's groups that get together, be 6, 7, 8 people, and they all get together, they have 4 or 5 or 6 rentals that be duplexes. So they all living in a duplex, and as they move up their money, they move out of the duplex and have other people renting that. And so now their income is going. You know, our income levels have to go up. It can't go up if we all trying to be independent and depend on the job, because the job can just lay you off at any time.
Shade, that's collective economics, right? Like,
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Another challenge I feel like is inflation. We've been trying to save,
Yes.
like saving is
Yes.
one thing, but now we know that saving is cool, but someone supports, it's like, we gotta invest.
yeah,
So like, even with, again, small increments amount of money, just trying to find, trying to build more knowledge on how we can invest. Because yeah, you can save $10,000, but by the end of the year, when how stuff is going, it's gonna be worth what, 8?
8, yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I like, yeah, I personally felt that, like, I had saved the most money that I have in a while last year, but damn, by the time the end of the next year, it's like, everything costs way more.
Hi, this is Laura, and I'm apologizing for coming in late. I just wanted to say that there are ways. I ended up with a home going through, let's see, HUD had a program I still have it, where if you're a first-time home buyer, if you're a woman, if you're Black or brown, they will show you step by step what it is that you need to do. And if you're paying attention and you do what they said, I ended up with a house, which I've had for 30 years now. And I also wanted to say, I was a secretary. I wasn't high up the food chain on the earnings scale. However, you could had a a small retirement account that my employer put in, and you could take money from that to put as a down payment on the house. And you don't get penalized tax wise. So I just wanted to throw that in. I think a lot of people think that you go a third or a half of for the down payment, but you don't. Or, yeah, I guess you might have already covered that, but I do strongly agree of the cooperative mentality that we need to have, even if it's just to get, something that a business property. You can get a duplex with some friends or family and then rent it out, and that would generate enough income for the down payment you could live it. So that's just my words of experience and hope.
Yeah, it was really nice to hear from you, Laura, but you also are cutting out a little bit for us, just so you know.
That's good. Yes.
I was gonna add another thing from the chat.
I'm sorry, my voice, as you know, was that Shamar just talking?
No, it wasn't.
Oh,
My name is
sorry.
Chris Chu.
Oh,
Shamar is
hi.
here.
My voice is I'm hoarse most of the time, and it was sounding good for a minute there. So I guess now it's going in and out. But I'll put my info in the chat, and if anybody wants to reach out. But I know HUD still has that program.
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
What you said was good, yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Do you mind if I, then I know Nikki's on stack. Bree had just said earlier too, before we even transition to what are some of the challenges, was that it been in line, right? Which I was told by a financial advisor to put money into a CD to save for a house so it accrues. So again, these tools and methodologies of how we actually do, like I think you were saying earlier, how do we actually learn to take care of ourselves?
Well, you got a question right here.
What is a CD is the question.
Certificate of deposit. So, being a HUD counseling agency that Laura was referencing, and since we're kind of starting to talk about solutions, the way that we look at these conversations is everybody has their own financial DNA. So what may work for one person may not work for another. I think the ultimate goal is, once you're identifying housing is the goal, is to sit down with someone to understand what ownership will look like for you. Will it be that traditional mortgage that you got put down at 3%, the 30-year mortgage? Is it going to be the co-op experience, the land trust? And that really is going to be indicative of what your assets are and what your ultimate goals are in regard to how do you want that asset to work for you. The other thing to consider is, as a first-time home buyer under a community lending program, you can buy up to 4 units. But do not underestimate what it means to be a landlord. So depending on what city, county that you're living in, be really clear. And since we are an anti-displacement, the intent is not that you buy a building to displace others. So, you want to think through that process as well. And if you have interest in the traditional ownership model, that's where we spend most of our time. And we do have a sign-in sheet, and we do provide the classes that provide you the information, as well as the guidance through our counseling agency to support you. But we really look at everyone individually. I did also want to just comment on Laura's point. She mentioned about the 401k, 403b as an opportunity for down payments. As you're learning these things, be sensitive to going out to your retirement saying, I want to withdraw money because I was told, because there could be some consequence. That consequence is if you take that money out for your down payment and you don't pay that money back, which you're paying to yourself before you leave your employer, there will be a tax consequence. And most of us who we've already talked about don't have saving. Retirement is really the only, nest egg that you have. So if you deplete that, the likelihood of you being able to replicate that in any period of time is unlikely. So if you are a first-time home buyer, make sure you're leveraging other people's money, as they say, but not other people's money is always free. So understand what that concept is as well.
That was good. Thank you. Very informative. That's what y'all do now.
And if y'all do want to get one of our consultations, we can provide them later on today as well.
Yeah.
And so since we already went into, it, I'm just gonna skip over the successes, like, and see if there's any other additional tools or resources that folks want to add, like, what are some things that you all have found to be useful?
I had a question, actually. What about when it comes to paying our utilities? Do you use any tools on how to keep track, how to save energy, how to save? Maybe some of you could share that with me. I would like to know.
Yeah, so I'll edit the question. It's like, what tools and resources have you found to be useful in your housing goals as well as inclusive of utilities?
Yeah.
Any other additions? I know someone looked at HUD.
Yeah, I'm on the flex program when it comes to PG&E. I don't use any power from 4 to 9 and it helps.
Yeah.
And I'm also looking into those yeah, solar, yeah, because they say that we're running out of fossil fuel and so, so yeah, you gotta be thrifty like your parents.
I just want to say, lifting that up, I feel like when most people I know sign up for their utilities PG&E, they don't really dig into the details of the plan, but that is very important in terms of understanding like how much you'll be spending over time, right? So if you haven't done that, go call them up, and see which program you're on and see what that means in terms of like how they're charging you, because they definitely do charge you differently based on every kilowatt. And so you just want to make sure, basically what subscription plan you're on, what I'm saying? Other thoughts around resources that you found useful?
Real quick, free energy resources I would mention as a baseline, PG&E offers a discount called CARE.
Yeah.
It's like low income discount, but like low income in like the Bay Area, like if you have a full-time job, probably, unless you like work for the government, you probably are still low income. So that's a really good one. It's nice to get a nice discount on companies every month. There's
one for families.
3 named organizations. One of them is shoot, I can't remember. There's an organization that will essentially support you in putting low or no cost solar. And it's not like one of those scam solars where it's like a lease or someone else owns it or something like that. They actually assist you in having either free or very low cost solar. I'll look up your name.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that. too,
Grid
because I-
Grid alternatives.
What's this called? What?
Grid alternative.
Grid
alternatives. We should have.
Yeah, because I looked into that and you don't own the panels. The people I was talking to, I'm like, you pay for them for 30 years and you don't own them. So that don't even sound good.
So I want to say another alternative to that, I'm part of a solar cooperative called Solar People.
Okay.
Solar People Power. Yeah, People Power Solar, thanks, cooperative. Yes, and so, yeah, I'm part of that group, is regional group. And yeah, so we do own the panel, so we get together, we put in our dividends and we, that helps buy the equipment, we get grants and other things. And we pay for the equipment, so yes, we get the kickback from that. It's not a big increment, since it's, a couple of us, but at least it's not going back to some other company.
That's right.
But we do
That's
collectively own it. I'm
good.
looking at to put it on my house, so people in our collective, we have anchors who put it on their house, and that's like our grids.
Thank you. I'm gonna do some info.
Power,
So moving from the consumer to the producer, I want to highlight the things. Do you have your hand up? Other resources I find to be helpful?
Also, you can do things like changing the windows in your home.
Yeah.
Oh,
So yeah, weatherize.
Yeah.
Yeah, whether I.
Yeah.
Installation.
Change the double pane windows. And
Yeah.
also use surge protection.
Yeah,
So that
PG,
how do you-
PG&E and Habitat for Humanity. They're really good about coming out and doing energy evaluations. And then they will give you certain things. They used to give you appliances, refrigerator. I know was one of them, but I don't think they do that any longer. But they do still do the windows. They do the shower head and what else? Oh, the what do you call it thing? The smoke alarm and the carbon monoxide. They give you those. There's something else. Oh, I don't. Oh no, that was Habitat. Habitat. If you are disabled or elderly, they will put in like the handicap bars along your bathroom and give you a new shower. What do you call it? They give you a lot of stuff. When my mom was alive and she was living with me, then I was shocked at how much stuff they gave her. The shower chair and the mat and all the toilet riser, all kind of stuff. for if you are elderly or disabled. So
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I'm
good.
also just quickly going to restate what I put in the chat, which is we would love to hear from everyone, but we would love for people to actually respect, raise hand, stacks.
Oh,
So we can
so sorry.
respect our translator. But there's a translator in this channel, right? And so he cannot catch everyone speaking if we start going back in conversation for this part. So just if you want to speak, raising your hand, and we, that's what Xavier is going to be here. And I will, if you're in the chat wanting to raise your hand, I will pass to Xavier that you want to raise your hand.
Okay, thank you.
Check.
Awesome. Thank you all, but for the contributions, these are all
Thank you,
great
yeah.
resources. I do want to see too, does do any posts? I know we were talking about energy and so on, and then even some economic tools. Any tools that y'all have in mind specifically around like housing that you want to lift up? I know we talked about the Keys to Equity program for ADU, like if you're a homeowner. There's some of the.
I know we obviously here, y'all know EB PREC, but honestly, I think one of the things that resonates is like the lack of isolation, right? Like the more we learn to do it with each other and communication is the more we can do it better. So I think EB PREC is a great place that's about creating different examples, right? And so like in building a network of people to teach each other how to keep doing it better. So like hearing about the different resources, I think it's about like just naming our names, right? So I even heard us reiterate EB PREC because obviously we are this model to me, and it's about building the network for people to learn from, right? And so I think that like lack of isolation is actually where we go forward from, is that we need to show people that like, if we can do it, then let's show them that we can do it, building our own co-ops for solar panels or et cetera. So.
Yeah. And if folks are interested on the land tip, Original BlackPrint, we do some consulting around acquisitions and like building like small spaces and stuff there too. I was saying if folks are interested on the land aspect, Original BlackPrint, we do consulting around like land acquisitions. Yeah.
Laura hasn't.
Just on
Next up.
the housing resources piece,
Mhm.
it's mentioned in the guide, but the Oakland Community Land Trust. And I'm a resident homeowner with the land trust, also on board with it. But we've got houses that are going online for sale that are going to be coming available very shortly. They're in the 200, these are, single family homes, 2 to 3 bedrooms, and like $200,000, $300,000 range, mid-2s, low 3s. But again, like it's important to understand the land trust model and what that looks like, what that entails. And then also, there's still consideration, but that's still a mortgage that you have to qualify for. So, if anyone has questions.
What neighborhood?
Some of them are in North Oakland and some of them are East Oakland.
Yeah, it's amazing though. 2s in Oakland.
I know, that's almost
Even if you don't want to
unbelievable.
live, you could probably just like actually need to stay.
First step in there.
Shocking.
Just in regular retail.
So.
Right. Awesome, thank you, appreciate that. And then 2, I know you were circulating, you had already sent out an email, so we could probably forward that to everyone. As long as you left the email, we can forward that same email that's circulating around different like housing resources to you all as well.
Okay.
And then Laura's on.
Laura, you're on stack.
This probably be the last.
I muted myself, I'm sorry. I wanted to say that another resource, PG&E does insulation also. They'll come out and evaluate, especially if you have an older home, they will come out and evaluate, and they do free insulation for your home. I don't know if this is an appropriate place to say this, but I wanted to caution against the home maintenance and improvement program through the city of Oakland. There's a few of us who are messengers who have had horrible experiences with them. And I am going into the 3rd year of litigation with my contractor who was, from the city of Oakland program. So I just wanted to ring that bell in everybody's ear.
That was good, thank you.
Other people might have a different experience, and I'm not trying to
So we hear
not
them. Thank
anybody's
you.
experience, but yeah, just be cautious, because I have no front to my house. I haven't walked out of my front door in since 2019. Yeah. So
I just wanted to verify another quick direct message. Or this is going to be shared out to everybody that gives us their email, right?
Yeah, the information, yeah.
Yeah, so if you want the information from the slides, make sure you drop your email into the chat if you're on Slack, excuse me, on the Zoom.
Yeah.
And then, so are there any more resources?
Oh, I have one.
Okay, last resource?
The Earthquake Safe Homes Program, will come out and earthquake proof your home, they'll, earthquake proof the foundation and the.
Oh, nice. That's good
Yeah.
and necessary.
Yeah.
And then, there's also, we skipped over successes, so I do want to like jump back to this, since, you know, the conversation is naturally flowing that way. What successes have you encountered in meeting your housing goals? Like, so some of the things that we were kind of like throwing out, like some of your past goals, just what successes have you encountered? If any.
Well, like they were saying before, that HERA program, I had some success, a lot of success in that program, helped me keep my house.
Oh, yeah, nice.
Yeah. That's real good, you know, they sit down, they usually give you a counselor, and the counselor kind of works with you until you get to where you need to go. And my process, I think, was like 7 months, so they was with me the whole time, checking on me to make sure I was doing what I was supposed to be doing to get the job done.
That's good. So the HERA program.
O'Hara, okay.
Yeah, and any other successes that y'all have encountered? You want to lift up, share with the group? I mean, if
I,
there's-
Or I was interested in.
Is there
There,
any-
right
other-
now, if you're interested in, or you have a home-based childcare business, or are interested in starting one, the state of California has funds available for you to acquire, or if you already have a home-based or a facility-based, basically they'll give you money to expand or to start your business. And it's, you know, it's due soon. I think it's the 13th or so of December, but yeah.
Thank you.
If I
Yeah,
could
thank
plug EB PREC, one of our newest staff members was successful in putting a bid on a house and going through the EB PREC Cooperative owner group process, to actually have the co-op purchase a house on her behalf, her and her family. So, just proof positive that if you have a group of people who are dedicated to doing the property search, doing all the things that you need to do to actually get positioned for the acquisition, that our organization, EB PREC, will support you in making that purchase. You can also be a homeowner. So yeah, get in with the PRECs and the CLP.
Awesome. And then any other like personal successes? Go ahead.
I was just wondering if there's any resources available for people to build their credit so that they're able to actually get.
I do believe you have some, yeah.
Yeah, through our counseling, if credit is a challenge, then our counselors will work with you. If it is serious issues with credit, that may need direct, conversation with the creditor and or collector, or it might be a legal issue, then we also work with HERA as well, and we provide that type of support.
Awesome. And then we have another one here.
Yes, so at Unity Council, we also have financial coaches there, and we also do offer free credit reports. And we can set up appointments with our financial coaches, and so if there's someone here today that need help fixing your credit score, like, we can help you out with that for sure. So that's another one of our resources we have at Unity.
And I'm gonna just lift up, even if you don't got bad credit, like you just got okay credit, utilize the coaching, because credit in general, like the difference between knowing how to navigate the financial system and not will be very costly. I think last estimate was about $1 million over your lifetime. So it's really important that, there's really like a system, it's like, oh, you gotta keep it below this amount, over this amount, this many accounts, like it's very methodical. So it means that it can be taught, it can be learned, right? So I would definitely highly suggest, and a free credit report, like go for it. And I'm not sure if it's still active right now too, but during COVID, they had it where every week you could get a credit report. I guess there was like an uptick, like through, was that freecreditreport.com? Typically you can get it annually, right? Every year from each of the main three bureaus. TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian, right? And it's like, but they made it where like during COVID, you can get it every single week, right? You can check, you know, so I would definitely suggest checking that out as well as a resource.
Interesting.
Yeah,
go
that's a
ahead.
lot.
Yeah, and on those reports, typically they don't offer you the credit score, but it will show you all your activity. And then if you want your credit score, you can, pay a fee. We through Credco will pull all 3 credit reports. Unfortunately, ours aren't free, but it is the cost of pulling a report. And if you are going through the home buyer process, they are the reports that the lenders will accept and review to make their evaluation.
Yeah, and that's very
Thank
important
you.
because there are a bunch of different types of credit report, like credit scores, right? And so the one that's specific to housing, is gonna be the one that you want to pull, so you can see whether lenders and so on, are gonna be looking at. And then you had your hand up, sir?
Those students know why they made it available like that, so it's the credit, that sounds like.
Yeah, during COVID, there's a lot of scamming, so
I think it was because they wanted to
Thank
make
you.
sure that there wasn't
Thank you.
fraud for you, if
Thank
you were
you.
having a hardship, kind of seeing what was being reported. And then also some creditors were taking advantage of people being, during COVID, so just so you just monitor.
Okay. Well,
awesome. And then wait, you had your hand up, and then we're gonna get you next.
It is a quick thing. I was gonna say, definitely encouraging folks to like take advantage of like the agency, nonprofits, and just like the resources that are there, doubling up. Like, you going one for credit counseling, one for housing, one for something else. I might also say, just, full disclosure, as we work in financial service, like having, not all banks, not all institutions, not all bankers are the same. But as someone who like worked as a banker, like one of the things I love the most is it's like sitting down with somebody who has questions, wants to listen, has their clear financial goal, doesn't know how to get there, and just like talking to them. Obviously, as a banker, my job is also to, talk about products and we offer like insurance or credit cards or something like that. So, there's, be mindful of that, but it's also good to have a good relationship with the financial institution, like, try on a couple different banks, understand what your values are, whether it's like what they invest in or how they support the community, or just what folks there look like, whether they have folks there that see your claims and have your background, something like that. But yeah, establishing a good relationship with financial institution and building that would be beneficial, along with taking advantage of all others.
Right. Thank you. Yeah, and I wanted to bring up, because I've been studying for about 2 or 3 years now with life insurance. A lot of people spend a lot of time, 401k, and I'm not knocking that kind of stuff tax-wise, but you're leaving your money in somebody else's hands. Life insurance is a tax-free thing. That means that you never pay tax as you put your money in and as it grows and as you're able to grab out of it. You're able to grab out of it as it has a loan. You're able to loan against the balance that you have and use that as your credit card. Use that as what you're doing and never lose your balance. 401ks right now, we have a lot of clients coming in 20-30% they lost. This is the 3rd year in the last 2 that we've had losses. So if you gain 100,000 and you took a 30% loss, and now you're taking another 30% loss, what does that leave you with? So a lot of people need to understand that the tax-free lifestyle and protection, because you get something called living benefits and stuff like that, is what we need to be looking for in our community. So we're able to even loan each other, be able to do things like that, as opposed to paying the bank for credit interest, paying the bank for our housing, paying, because you get a mortgage, you got to pay the bank. You got all that stuff. We need to figure another way to do it. And that's a good way to do it, is getting yourself a life insurance policy that you can pass the wealth on to your kids and so it's a big thing that's different than what we keep. I notice every room I go in, we talk about that, but nobody really talks about their life insurance and their trust. You got to get that, like the sister was talking before. We have to get this stuff in order so people are not just feeding off of us. You know, because banks feed off us, loans feed, you go to college now, they're feeding off, you know, so.
Thank you.
So for those that do have interest in living trust, RNHS does something called Money Matters Series. So throughout the course of the year, we'll have different topics. And early in the year, before the end of first quarter, we will have attorneys to come talk about living trust and how to get that set up. I have heard a lot, not a lot, but quite a few comments about investing. Being a retired banker and also being a licensed securities person. We always want to say that get your foundation solid first. Have that 3 months, that 6 months, that 1 month cash reserve so that when life happens, you can go to the ATM. Because the investments aren't designed to be able to go in and out. They do have a cycle, so you put it in there so that it can work. The life insurance is a great strategy, it's a wealth building strategy. But if you're gonna go down that path, make sure your insurance agent is gonna give you an illustration, because the way in which those investments work, it may take 3 to 5 years before you actually start seeing the cash value. So as you're, looking at these different things, just make sure you understand what the consequences, as well as getting an understanding of what your investment expectation is prepared to be for you.
Awesome. And just to double check, anybody on the stack there?
Sorry, I was eating a little bit. There was a hand from Laura. She wanted to quickly share that she was also able to buy her house without any credit. So again, I think it's a good skill share of like, hey, how did you do that? And she also asked the question, can it be a second home, or does it need to be a first time home owner? I think it might have been a reference to.
So for the first time home buyers, it does need to be your first residence. The way that they look at a first time home buyers, if you have not been on a fee for the last 5 years. So if you owned a home in 08 and you lost it because of the crash and you came back today, you'd be considered a first time home buyer. And the benefits don't apply to properties that can generate income, rentals, things of that nature.
Awesome.
It's a way to become a first time home buyer again though, right?
Right,
Even
so-
after the purchase.
Yes, so if you haven't been on a property or lien for the last 5 years, then you would be considered a first time home.
After 5.
So we'll be closing out this particular question, but just this last question that we have are in thinking back again to our housing goals. Like what 3 things or supports would be helpful on your housing journey?
Get a budget together and like you said, emergency fund. You need to have something, yeah. Because a lot of people got caught with that COVID. They didn't have anything, they just.
Budget emergency fund?
Yeah, so that's actually very important because often, some of the issues that, renters run into is the down payment or the deposit. So just being very mindful that, sometimes the deposit will be like twice the monthly rental amount and things like that. Deposit is very important too.
Deposit. Any 3 things or supports that y'all have in mind that you think would be helpful for your housing journey? As you're thinking about those initial goals that folks kind of lifted up earlier.
In spaces like this, to be able to come and have like a one-stop shop for the resources and definitely
Yeah.
knowing not just it existed, but knowing how to actually access it. Because I know about a lot of what was said today, but making us all in one place is immaculate.
Awesome. Did you ever hear that?
I think too, like just having another reason why the space feels really important, right? Is just to meet other folks in the community that are wanting to get on this journey as well. Like Ben said, we shouldn't be doing this separate. Or maybe some folks can, but a lot of us can't. And like being able to connect with someone like, oh, you live in the Fruitvale, you're trying to get a home, and I live over here, we're trying to get a home. Like we can work together. We've already established there's several funding sources, right? Even outside of your own finances that you can activate, whether it's a permanent real estate cooperative or community land trust or both, right? I mean, I think there is capital around and we just have to get the people together and connected and organizing together to get to acquire these properties and start getting housing stability for each other.
Yeah. Really, we gotta get ourselves together, right?
That's what I was gonna say too, is
Not
that
really step into owning, you know what I mean? Like us going through those steps, building out that plan, tapping into the resource, like just in this room, y'all, like there are a lot of really dope resources, a lot of wisdom. I didn't even know he was a retired banker. I was like, oh my goodness. And then also operating our NHS. So there's like a lot of good things that you can tap into just here. And so I would just like, if you haven't already signed up for one of the one-on-one consultations, like, and say maybe your goal is even like down the road or what have you, I would still say, hey, like try and sign up so that you can like really get that, or at least like writing your name down, expressing interest in the survey to follow up, and sign up, just so that you have someone who's like skilled expert that could just like walk you through some of the stages,
Where do we sign up at?
Yeah, so we have folks who have signed in. You should have, there should have been a question. Yeah, that's where you would have signed up.
is there a good way to have people online sign up other than, I saw you said earlier, be to DM you?
Yeah, well, so DM me if they want to get a one-on-one consultation today, but if you can give them the here to stay link, they can fill out the form on our website for follow-up.
Cool, dropping that.
And then
And we also have a sign-in sheet as well, so if you want anything specific, anything we talked about today, you can sign up with us.
awesome.
And Rissa is online, right, on the chat right now, right?
Mhm.
Can take-
And then
Yes,
over
I'm here.
Yeah, I want to hit you guys up too with, trying to have your own business as well. They have a big, small business, matter of fact, this brother's the small business alliance person, because if you have your own business, you're able to keep more of your money. I mean, you're able to move your money into having your own home without struggling, so that's what they're paying people to do, is to have their own stuff. So having your own business, a home business, if nothing else, making cookies and stuff, you can write off so many things and be able to keep that money to put it towards your budget to get your housing and stuff in order.
I would also lift up, I think, an initial stage for most people that I find to be helpful. Like we do a lot of like the OGBP, like just organizing around like healing and just like mindset and purpose and so on. I would say it's like an abundant / growth mindset. Like really, like I mean, I would just go Google that and then just really dive into that information, because there's just something about sometimes we look at the whole bit, like and it becomes a lot for us. But it's like there's a lot of like tools, strategies, steps, like even thinking about the law of attraction and all these things. It can sound very heady, but it's like baked into it are things like you're writing it down, like I'm meditating on it, I'm setting the intention, I'm laying that out as a goal. I'm not just speaking it, right? But I'm like, it's a SMART goal, So there's a lot of things that will allow for you to really take it from just a thought or a want, but to actually try and make that a reality and to like walk in that as a lifestyle, right? Because a lot of what we talked about, it has to be something that you practice. Like every day you wake up, you see your SMART goals on your wall, like things like that can help you to step into as a lifestyle and a way of thinking and being and existing. So again, like abundant mindset, growth mindset, law of attraction, like those are things that I would really highly put out there, because they're very useful when you're trying to like tackle some of your goals just in life in general. If there's nothing else, or there any last bits, thoughts, any more something you want to leave each other with?
What about folks who are in the position of aligning to become the steward of the family? Like what research is available in that? How do you prepare for that?
Are you talking about transitioning from one generation to the next? So you definitely want to make sure you have a living trust, because the property owner who's living can put in instruction to say who should have control over the property. So documentation is going to be essential, because without it, it'll go into probate, and it'll be a 10% probate charge just to get through it. And we know in our communities, people do plenty of money, and then there's amnesia. So the only way to really understand
It really start finding out integrity.
that this is reverse mortgage. What that means is that the person who got the reverse mortgage wasn't planning to have the house transition to a generation, then it's gonna go back to the lender. But they will give a grace period of amount of time for family members to buy that property back. Because what a reverse mortgage does is the person who received it gets all of the equity up front. With the expectation of when they die, then the property helps offset what was already paid.
So what happened if they pass?
So if it's in a reverse mortgage and they pass, it's gonna go to the lender who gave them the equity up front. But there typically is a grace period to where family members or whomever may want to secure that property to pay that debt off and then goes into whoever was able to see it. And I will say that with reverse mortgages, it typically was designed for those people who didn't plan to lose their property. But if it's not sold right, then you have to put the other credit for it.
Definitely plans to leave the property to the family, but because the house needed to get clear sale, or the board,
So I do want to see who has signed up for one-on-one consultations. Raise your hand. Raise your hand. You like to? Okay, awesome. So yeah.
How do you sign up again?
Dude,
How do you sign up?
If you're online, you're gonna DM me, so.
EMB, Coleman on the
Oh, okay, thank you.
Zoom.
all right, so y'all, that was like the end of the program and presentation and so on. Please do get food if you want more food and drinks and so on. But now we're transitioning to the Solutions Cafe, in which we'll have those one-on-one sessions.